Howdy and welcome to Moose Podcast number 491, Spring Training Camp. How you folks doing? It's been another one of those weeks. Keep on moving the ball forward. Seems like lots is happening. One piece of trivia. I had blogged the iCup that I finally found that I just absolutely love for the Z9 Z8. It's on Amazon. The link's on the blog post for it. Hey, that iCup comes and goes quickly. When I posted it, it was, you know, the Amazon. It's out. Never know we're going to get again. And then Thursday, it was available. Friday, it was gone. Today, Monday morning, it says place your order. They're going to get some more soon. So it's one of those things. It's a great little product, but it's not a huge supply. You want it, order it, they'll get it to you. This episode of the Moose Podcast is being recorded using Adobe Podcast AI Voice, which they have changed a little bit again. So here's a question, depending on what emails I get. Um, I have not been recording the video, obviously. And it's kind of now I have to almost do hand-to-hand combat with the Adobe Podcast Beta just to do voice. No one said anything about wanting to see my face. I wouldn't want to see my face. If you want to see my face, drop me an email. If enough people do it, I'll think about it, I guess. And then I do have some guest speakers coming up. You want to see them? Just let me know. Maybe we can. There's nothing carved in stone. It just kind of, threw me for a little loop when I cranked it up. So Nikon came out with the Z7200-28 Mark II. Big news this last almost a week ago now. Bunch of emails. Am I getting it? I ordered it just as fast that email would load from MPS asking for a pre-order priority. Yeah, I got it. Right off the bat, it's 25% lighter. I mean, something like 3.3 pounds to 2.5 pounds, something like that. I mean, it's lighter. Right off the bat, I love that feature. As far as the rest of it, if I've not seen it, and not heard anybody who shot a production model, but if you compare the original 24 to 72.8 to the Z24-72.8 that came out last fall, and you've seen that difference, it's that difference in the 7200-8 Mark II, and that is huge. It's interesting that they show how fast it's acquiring and dealing with focus. If you look at the specs of it, there's less glass, less groups, so that means less to move. It's got, if I remember right, 11 apertures instead of 8, so it's going to have much better, cleaner look to wide open. You've got that new fancy motors, ultrasonic, super duper, Superman breaking speed light, supersonic motor thingy, which I don't understand it. I'm here to tell you, I've not really asked about it, but I know in the 24 to 70 F2 version 2, it's a sweet puppy. So yeah, I've ordered it. And here's the thing. If you're not MPS and you don't get the MPS priority, you can go through like my good friends at bedfords.com, who sponsors the Moose Podcast. You can get priority ordering through them. At the same time, you're going to get a little bit lower price at cash register because you'll just say Moose sent you. That's a pretty good reason to go out and get that lens. It's pretty spectacular. A couple of people ask about the Arca Swiss built into the clamp. that's cool. I don't having to go out and buy new collars and foots. I'm telling you, after decades, that's getting old. That is old. So to see that in there, it's nice. The times when I would actually put it in a tripod, um, because I probably won't use it in gimbal like you see them using it. The number of times I actually put it in a tripod, just having that right there is great. One thing I like is the tripod collar completely detaches. It comes off simply the old bayonet on and off style, which I really like. So yeah, those young wizards there in Nikon, they've done a great job. Speaking of great job, Bedfords. Okay, besides you can get your priority on that lens. They've got all the rest of the good gear. Now, mentioned before, it happened again Friday. Yeah, Friday. I got the text from Bedfords that told me about the pop-up sale that went on this past weekend, which is over today. Oh god, it's March 2nd already. Anyway, so you go to their website and a box appears and you put in your phone number, and Bedford's is great. They don't hit you with all this blah blah blah. They don't sell or give away your text phone number. All they do is send you a text when they've got deals. I mean, what more could you want? Seriously. They're going to tell you when they've got deals. You can save money. This last one was it 40% on used gear? I don't remember. But it's just indicative of who Bedfords happens to be. The great service, prices, people, inventory, support as for us as a photographic community. They've got PhotoCon coming up in a couple weeks now. They're in okay. I mean, if you haven't, you've got to check out Bedfords. Go to the website. Go to one of the 7 stores. Give them a phone call. Tell them Moose sent you. No matter what brand, what you're looking for, what accessory, it's going to help you. It's going to save you money. It's gonna, you're just going to get into the Bedford family. And once you're in, it's like any family you're in. It's a great place. Bedfords. Thanks for all you do for, getting that 7200 to me and everybody else, as long as the rest of good gear. Bedfords.com. So here it is, a couple months already into the year. It seems a little weird to be thinking about spring training camp when there's no snow out there and I've got birds going into boxes, not with material yet. So technically, I should have about 10 to 12 inches of snow out there and still mumbling about clearing paths to different things, and I don't. Well, even with that in mind, certain regimes I have, routines, still come into play, and one of them is spring training camp. Probably, I know I did not shoot this winter as much as I should. That I know. I still kind of regret that. I got some time out there, got some great moments. Maybe shouldn't have gone fishing as much and gone shooting, but it's time to get ready for spring and summer. So I just along the lines of baseball, I put myself through spring training camp. And the idea is kind of simplistic. It's to build up the muscle memory between the ears and everything else. So when I'm out shooting, I don't feel like I've got the winter um, brain fog problem. I'm ready to go. I'm thinking about first thing I do, and I've talked about this many times, is I work on my hand holding. And I do it a little bit more zealously, maybe twice a day for probably most of March. So it's second nature. I go from the everything from the 600 f4 TC to the 51.2, and I don't go wider because you go wider, things will be in focus no matter what you do, kind of, especially as people like to raise their ISO. and I practice hand holding, and I will put the lens on something, hit the button, take the shot with shutter speeds higher than half a second, but definitely slower than 500th of a second. And I just do that, go back and forth, move around continually. I will do that, sound weird. I'll do it sitting down because I shoot from the car, like when at Lee Metcalf National Wildlife Refuge. So I practice doing it while I'm shooting or sitting, I should say. I practice while I'm standing. And then I start training the lens on Maggie as she runs back and forth, enjoying the no snow zone in the back. And I crank the shutter speed down to literally half a second. And I go back and forth and I'll do this and do this and do this. And I look at my images and just started doing it. And I could tell that I'm a little bit rusty. Like what people would say is a keeper rate. It's not as high as it should be. So there's some just a basic right off the bat that I start in my spring training camp. I can't imagine it's a lot different than baseball. No, I'm not running laps and I'm not doing all sorts of stretchies, which I really should do. Um, I did start yoga. Did I tell you I started yoga? That's a little bit weird. Yeah, and starting yoga for 60-year-old person, it's you start with simple things like making fingers and hands move correctly. But getting to the point, I found that hand holding is a tad more comfortable, definitely less of a isometric muscle exercise since I started yoga, which is kind of screwing with my mind a little. Like, should I have been doing it all along? Or, so that's definitely part of my regime, which has never been there prior to this spring. I continue on with exposure. Now, I feel I have exposure pretty well wrapped up. Keep in mind, I'm using aperture priority the majority of the time. I'm using the power and the speed of the camera's meters and computer to work in my favor. So, with that said, the two variables I work on is closing the lens down because I typically always shoot with the lens open. And just so I'm not missing something in the world and the brain's working, I close the aperture down, open it up, which is not changing exposure because I'm an aperture priority, but it is changing depth of focus. And in that process, I'll hit exposure compensation. I'll go up plus 2/3, go down minus a one, and I'll change the direction of light. It could be front light, side light, back light. It could be various subjects from the white-tailed deer, which are really congregating this year on our property. I'm a bit concerned for our plants. Haven't figured that one out yet. But anyway, I practice with them, Maggie, like I mentioned, Sharon, if I can get her to hold still. And I'm just working with exposure, just keeping a sharp eye. So when I see things with my eye, I can dial in what I need in the camera to get it right, keep on moving forward. At the same time, I work with finding subjects. That's a challenge. So if you have, one pole on a blue sky, finding the bird on the pole, pretty simplistic because it's only one place for you to look. But if you're looking through 600 millimeter and you're looking into a shrub or into a pine bough, something where there's multiple targets but only one subject, finding that subject quickly. So then while it does, hold for the moment, you can get the shot. That takes definite spring training camp time. I was down in Florida 2 weeks ago, had a palm warbler that was delightful, and it was up close, so it was filling the frame. There was no breathing room, and when it's that close and it makes all those little moves that a palm warbler does, keeping up with it, keeping in the frame, and then getting the elements arranged to make the shot, well, that was just like great training. And I was like, I can remember go home to my Junkos and do the same thing. Stand here and get the shot as they move around the shrub, and then move 6 feet and get them moving around the shrub, changing the dynamics of the branches in relation to the lens. Finding subjects is something that's just a man, that is just right up spring training camp alley. The last thing that I started doing, and I do it without a camera, and then I get a camera in my hand. This spring, I've been doing it with the ZR because I'm trying to. You've got to get it right in the camera and shoot video. There is no Adobe Camera Raw or anything like that. You've got to get it right. So the ZR is forcing me to look at light when it comes to video, because you get it right for video, you're going to get it right for stills as well, and that's the goal. And I walk around and I look at the light, and I look at the good light, and I force myself to use the good light, even if there's a subject in the bad light, because great subject in bad light is still bad light. It's not going to make a good story. So that's the other thing I do for my spring training camp is to get the mind thinking again, visual storytelling, using those basic elements, which then when I'm out shooting the spring and summer, I can build on and improve my photography, which it needs improving. It's that simple. So there you have it. Get the old glove out, get the ball, wax it up, throw it around, get to that spring training camp. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. You folks have a great week. Appreciate you stopping by. You want to talk to me, you can do it many ways. The website, Spotify. I'm here to help any way I can on your journey as a photographer. Remember to share and to make every click your story.